Deputy Secretary Dakalala, thank you very, very much for those heartfelt and very true words that have captured everything that I wanted to convey tonight, not just in my words, but that I wanted to come across to everybody here this evening. Thank you very, very much for making the trip. Extremely grateful. Foreign Minister, Opposition Leader, Ambassador, High Commissioner, and of course Deputy Secretary, all members of Parliament, to our partners, our collaborators, many of whom are in the audience and have been mentioned, our supporters and our friends. Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you especially to our speakers. I couldn't have hoped for more, really, so thank you very much for that, but much more for your genuine commitment, you and the many people you represent who are in this room and in this house, your commitment to PNG and your commitment to those in need in the region. It is genuine. I've been in here long enough, and I know some of you well enough to know how deeply felt those words are, and how that's backed up with meaningful action. And it's great to be in this forum tonight to be able to acknowledge that. High Commissioner Lapani has mentioned that PNG doesn't always get great press, nor for that matter does Australia's support of PNG always get great press. But you've heard tonight that the truth's actually really quite different to that sentiment. It's probably very clear by now, but a key purpose of tonight's function was to demonstrate just how much has been achieved since independence, especially in health. You know, whether it be life expectancy, we see a life expectancy gap that we heard tonight, but it's improved by 30% since 1975, up from 50 to about 62 or 63 now. And that's arisen from dramatic improvements in child survival, vaccine preventable diseases, as you've also heard about, measles and the like. Polio is not in PNG. It's been declared polio free, for example. HIV is a problem, but it's nowhere near the problem that I thought it would be today. It's been controlled incredibly through enormous efforts of people in this room, people they represent. Malaria, which is my personal interest and passion, has dramatically come down. It's under the radar a little bit. Again, a very deliberate effort. These achievements are a great credit to a very, very young nation. What you have to say is a truly amazing democracy, one that brings together more language groups under the one national flag than any other country in the world, by far, including Indonesia. So we need to see the problems of today in that context, one where substantial progress has already been made. There are runs on the board. PNG and its partners in development, especially Australia, can and should be proud of that success and acknowledge it. But of course, and we've heard, and it'd be crazy not to acknowledge the problems, the very enormous problems that are still there, that are very significant barriers to the next step in PNG's development as a nation. Barriers to economic development, barriers to opportunities for individuals, and barriers to security. Maternal and newborn health, newborn as opposed to child health. TB, and the particular dramatic issue of drug-resistant tuberculosis, and the emerging non-communicable disease problem that flies under the radar, but often you go to hospitals and clinics around PNG, most clinicians will give you an infectious disease or two, usually TB at the top. Their next top 4 or 5 health problems for admissions are non-communicable. This is a big change. So the problems are significant and complex, and they're often extensions of the intractable global problems. The ways to tackle that are many, I guess, but in the Burnett we have 2 core approaches that have been mentioned time and time again. And the first is of partnerships. Easy to throw away that line, but the reality, as the Deputy Secretary, as the Foreign Minister, as Charles Lupani, and as the Leader of the Opposition all said, in one way, shape or form, can't achieve anything alone. No government, no agency, no organisation. We simply don't have the might, and we don't have the expertise in the different niches that are required to solve complex problems. Partnerships, teamwork, and an attitude that promotes and celebrates that sort of cooperative response is absolutely essential, and it's at the top of the list. And the second, and I'm very pleased that you launched the health strategy today, and that innovation, research and evidence is at the core of that. Evidence. That just sounds an absolute no-brainer. But so often our decisions around a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of commitment are based on pretty flimsy evidence. And the follow-up to the expenditure of that money often doesn't rely on the evidence either. This is a paradigm that's changing, and I congratulate the Foreign Minister for driving that thought change and again making it tangible. So we have to innovate, research and be clever our way out of these things. We have to do better with more complex problems with less money. We have to do the same in this country, not just in PNG. So we're committed to both partnership and innovation at the Burnett for development, both in PNG and everywhere. Our entire organisation is committed to these principles, and much of it is committed to supporting PNG. And we look forward to working together, as you've all said, but Deputy Secretary, as you said, the most passionately, working together to observe with great interest, with great pride and with great expectation where the next 40 years will take us with PNG. Partners and friends we will be over those 40 years, and I believe equal partners in every way we will go forward. So thank you very, very much. And thank you all for attending this evening. Thank you, Louise, for your emceeing duties under significant duress. Appreciate you all being here and joining with us to recognise, celebrate and look forward to a future with a country that's very special to Australia. Thank you.